It was Christmas Eve and the streets were dressed in silence. Snow fell gently from the sky, coating the world in a white blanket that shimmered under the dim street lights. Families were gathered inside their warm homes, fires crackling, laughter echoing through windows that glowed with festive lights. But out on a lonely street corner, a single dad named Daniel trudged back from his late shift, his breath turning to mist in the icy night air. His life had never been easy. Raising his 8-year-old son, Michael, alone since his wife's passing 3 years earlier had left scars deeper than anyone could see. But on this night, as Daniel pulled his coat tighter and longed for the warmth of home, he stumbled across a scene that would stop him in his tracks and change the course of his life forever. Right there, beside a trash bin dusted with snow, a little girl no older than his own son was digging with trembling hands, her face red and raw from the cold. Her sweater was torn, barely clinging to her shoulders, and her hair hung in tangled strands across her tear-streaked cheeks. She was searching, desperate, frantic, as if the garbage was her only chance at survival. Daniel froze. The image pierced him deeper than anything he had ever seen. And in that moment, his heart clenched with a pain that words could never capture. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion to change lives, please take a moment right now to like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope. Comment your thoughts and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Together, we can keep stories like this alive. Daniel stood in the snowfall, unable to move. His mind raced. Why was this child alone? Where were her parents? Why was she searching through trash on Christmas Eve when children her age should be nestled under blankets waiting for gifts? Slowly, he approached, careful not to frighten her. But she noticed him and froze, clutching a bruised piece of bread to her chest like treasure. Her eyes held fear, but also something else. An emptiness Daniel recognized because he had seen it in the mirror too many nights after his wife's passing. That emptiness of loss, that ache of hunger, not just of food, but of belonging. Daniel tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. He simply knelt down a few feet away, his eyes locking with hers, the snowflakes melting between them. She looked at him as if unsure whether he was a threat or a miracle. And Daniel realized at that very moment she didn't need words. She needed safety. She needed warmth. She needed someone to see her. Truly see her. And so with steady hands and an aching heart, he offered his scarf, slowly wrapping it around her trembling frame. She didn't resist. As the hours unfolded, Daniel learned that her name was Lily. She had been wandering the streets for weeks after her mother fell ill and never returned from the hospital. Her father, long gone, was just a memory she barely remembered. She had been surviving on scraps, huddling in doorways, and hoping for kindness that rarely came. Her young voice, breaking as she spoke, carried the weight of pain no child should ever know. And as Daniel listened, the world around him seemed to disappear. The only thing that mattered was that this child had been forgotten by everyone. Everyone but him. The walk home felt longer than ever. Michael, Daniel's son, opened the door when they arrived, his small face lighting up in surprise when he saw Lily. And though he asked no questions, he immediately went to fetch the spare blanket from his room, wrapping it around her shoulders with the innocence only a child could show. In that tiny act of compassion, Daniel realized his son already understood something many adults had forgotten. Christmas was not about gifts, but about giving, not about lights, but about love. The night stretched on, filled with the warmth of soup simmering on the stove, the soft hum of a heater fighting off the winter chill, and the fragile sound of Lily's breathing as she slowly allowed herself to rest. For the first time in weeks, she felt safe enough to close her eyes. And Daniel, sitting at the edge of his son's bed, watched both children sleep. Tears stung his eyes because he knew this was no coincidence. Perhaps life had broken him. But maybe, just maybe, it was also giving him a chance to heal by becoming a light for someone else. Over the following days, Daniel faced challenges he had never imagined. Bringing Lily into his home meant more mouths to feed, more responsibilities, and the daunting fear of authorities questioning his right to care for her. But each day, he saw her cheeks grow warmer, her eyes brighter, and her laughter slowly returning. Michael and Lily bonded quickly, finding joy in the simplest things, sharing toys, drawing pictures by the fire, even just running in the snow. The house that once felt heavy with loss now echoed with the sounds of childhood again. And Daniel realized that by saving Lily, he had also saved himself and his son from a life defined by grief. But the truth that broke him most came later when he received a small folded note from Lily. She had written in shaky handwriting, "Thank you for seeing me. I thought I was invisible. I thought no one wanted me. But you gave me Christmas when I had nothing left. You gave me family." Daniel wept as he read those words, clutching the note like a treasure. He had once believed his life as a single dad was marked only by struggle and survival. But now he understood, sometimes we are put on paths not to ease our own pain, but to ease someone else's. And in doing so, we find healing, too. Christmas came and went, but its spirit lingered in their home. Daniel began working tirelessly to ensure Lily had a future, speaking with social workers, proving his home was safe, and eventually opening the door to adoption. Though the journey was hard, the community, inspired by his act of kindness, rallied to help. Neighbors offered meals, co-workers gave gifts for the children, and slowly Daniel learned that kindness is contagious. One act can ripple through countless lives. And so, in the heart of winter, on a night that began with sorrow and cold, a single dad and his son found a daughter and sister they never expected. Together they created a family built not by blood, but by love. A love strong enough to turn tragedy into hope and loneliness into belonging. If this story touched your heart, please help us share it with the world. Like this video. Comment below with your thoughts. Share it with someone who needs hope. And subscribe to Kindness Speaks so more stories of compassion can inspire lives everywhere. Special request. Before this story ends, take a moment to comment below. What does kindness mean to you? Your words may inspire someone reading today. And as the snow continued to fall that Christmas season, Daniel realized something profound. Sometimes the greatest gifts are not found under the tree, but in the people life unexpectedly brings our way.